Hi everybody. Ordinarily at this point I would be preparing the layout to feature part 2 of Great British Diesels. Now, as we have just had the extra long bank holiday weekend here in the UK for the Queen's Diamond Jubilee, the parcels and the letters, the mail's not moving, so there's been no deliveries, and I am waiting for a particular locomotive to arrive before I do Great British Diesels Part 2. I really want to feature this one on that particular video. So in the meantime, I've done this video as an interim between, and all will be revealed. Now, I'm going to start today's story with this. Now this is the Hornby HM2000 dual controller, and I'm sure you've probably seen some of my other videos, and if you haven't, I've got 2 of these. Now when I first come to you, I've already done a video with my views on these, but I'm just going to briefly just recap on it. When I first started to use these, I've obviously got tracks 1 and 2, and then the other one would be track 3, and then the 4th one is basically a spare, because at the moment I've only got the 3 main lines. But once I started trying to double head with locomotives, you know, from the 60s and the 70s, the old Triang stuff, which do require a lot more power than most of the modern locos, these wouldn't run them. They just kept stopping and cutting out. So I aired my views on these a while ago, and I decided to do something about it my own way. And so, what did I do to them? Right, for me it's quite simple. I took them apart and I did a couple of technical modifications which allows these controllers to now about double roughly the power on each section. So these now will quite easily run a double header of the old Triang stuff, and they will even run a triple header of some of the later locomotives. No trouble at all, no cutting out, no problem whatsoever. Now if you doubt my electronic capabilities, just go to Google and type in Champ Electronics Nottingham. In fact, I'm at the top of all the search engines, so that'll just show you the credibility that I do know what I'm talking about when it comes to electronics. Okay, the story now continues, but it now continues down here, and the reason is this. Right, I like collecting a lot of the American locos. I'll be careful of the camera flashing back, but things like that one, the Union Pacific there, that's the Dash 9 44CW, and then we've got the SD45 T2 there, you can see that one, and another SD45 T2, the KCS delivery one there, and the list goes on. I've got loads and loads and loads of American locos, like SD70 Mac in CSX livery, and one of my favourite ones, the SD9043 Mac. This is a massive loco, as you can see there, absolutely gorgeous. And as I say, the list goes on, and I've got loads and loads and loads of American stuff. Yeah, another one there. So this is a lot of this is all American stuff. All the back there, all American locos. And my plan is, in time, to do some videos featuring a lot of these locos. Now, yeah, on the surface that seems simple enough to do, but the thing is, with the American and the Canadian locos, you quite often see them with 4, 5 or 6 headers. Sometimes all together, sometimes split throughout the length of a long train. Now to be able to do this, whether it be on this layout or my new layout when it's up and running, the thing is, the controllers are not going to run that many locos. So, change of plan on my power supplies. And that plan of attack, change of plan, brings us down here. Now, under the bench, and you'll see here that there, that is a regulated, stabilized power supply. Of course, I appreciate not everybody's going to have one of these. It's quite an expensive bit of kit, but it's actually perfect for doing something like this on a large DC layout. I do intend to go to DCC on some lines on the new layout in time, but for the moment, sticking with DCC, you can't beat something like this. As you can see, I've got control for altering the voltage, which I can take this up and down accordingly. I'll leave it around about 14, and you've also got a meter displaying the amount of current. Now this supply is capable of 10 amps. Now we are talking here serious power. We are talking 30 locomotives, all the lights you can throw at it, all the electric points you can throw at it, and whatever you do, the voltage will stay stable throughout. Now, that's actually brilliant for the job. It really is the best thing you could ever use. But there is a cheaper option, but I've already got a couple of these, so I've just made use of it. But there is a cheaper option, much cheaper and much easily available, which I'll come to in a short while. But now we've got the power, we need to get this power up to the controllers. And as you can see, I've got the two gold-plated banana plugs there, and this very heavy-duty cable. This is the 1500 strand oxygen-free copper, which I've run up there and then along at the back, and then I brought it round to here, and we soldered here. So we've now got this power capability here on this buzz bar here. So right, I'll explain to you about the controllers in a few seconds. And so to the controllers. Right, I'm sure many of you out there have got one of these, the R965 controller, the Hornby controller. Very, very popular, loads of them about. You see them on eBay as well, quite cheap, you know, roughly sort of, I don't know, second hand 8 quid, 9 quid, something like that, maybe, but new, about 15 quid. But by and large, there's loads of them about. Now, I wouldn't call them cheap tack, would be the wrong word, but I would call them budget. I mean, yeah, you can run, they'll run one loco, no problem. They'll run a couple, maybe 3 if you're lucky, of later type locomotives, but it wouldn't be long before the thermal cutout switches out in them, and of course the train stops. Now, I had this pair lying around, and now I've got my big power supply, which you've already seen, which is all wired up to here. I decided to take one of these apart and have a look inside to see if I could actually use these as my source of control without having to buy anything else to run off the big power supply, as I've just shown you. Now, I had to drill the 4 rivets out because they're riveted together, and when I got it open, I was really surprised to find that this big box section here is actually empty. There's nothing in it. There's a PC board with a few components, the control chip, the control here as well for controlling the chip, and that's about it. So I thought, right, I've got an idea. So I've drilled out, taken away the socket on the side, taken that away altogether, and I've taken the horrible lead off it that is usually connected to your track, a bit of really thin wire, and I've doctored this, I've done both of them now obviously, I've doctored this by changing the original transistor that's in it, which is a 1.5 amp device. I've changed that for a 5 amp device. I've mounted it on a big heatsink, and the heatsink is now inside this square section. So now I've got a beefy controller which has cost me little or nothing. And as I say, I had 2 of them, so there's the 2 which I've now replaced for the HM2000. I've just won a couple more of them on eBay, which obviously I need another one for the 3rd track. 4th one was never used anyway, but I've got and then I'll have a spare one. But eventually I will probably have 7 or 8 of these. I want to be able to dim the lighting on the layout, etc, etc. These now are running, and I'm dead serious here, these are running really, really easy 6 locomotives, no trouble at all. I think I might do a video on how to convert one of these, because first of all, it's a dead simple job. You don't even have to be electronically minded. I can describe it in detail on the video. The result is absolutely fantastic. It's going to cost a couple of quid for the better transistor, and a couple of quid, 3 quid for the heatsink, and I can show you how to put this back together with a 5 amp device in it. And then you can borrow, you must ask first, your dad's car battery charger, which you can use instead of the power supply under there. And a car battery charger is usually 4 to 5 amps, not a problem, and you will be able to run 10 locomotives all on the same track at the same time. So I will do the video how to do this. Well folks, as they say, the proof is all in the pudding. So I'm now going to show you how this cheap, simple little controller can now handle 6 locomotives. In fact, it would handle 10, but I'm going to show you this doing 6 locomotives right now. Now, we all know that DCC is pretty much the ultimate way to go, But I tell you what, on a DC layout, this now is going to be the closest you're going to see it. So watch this. That is a pretty good crawl. And I am controlling this with that. Okay, we've got the Hornby Class 73 there. Right behind we've got the Lima Class 33. Behind that we've got the Lima Class 26. And then I've got the 3 Class 35 Harnex, which I've left on the layout from the last video anyway. Also the rolling stock, I've left all that on the layout, but this is not about the rolling stock, it's about the control of massive lots of locomotives. So, watch. 6 locos, all on the one track, controlled by fairly cheap Hornby controller of the Tribe Doctor. That is fantastic. And the same thing again, this time on the outer line with number 1 controller. So here we go. Coming up first. Look at that for a crawl on DC. Oh come on, that's cold. Right, coming up first then we've got the Hornby Class 56. Trailing behind her we've got the Lima Class 60, main line. Behind that we've got the Hornby Class 58. And then we've got the 3 Class 37s which I'd left on the layout from the other day. So again, 6 locos, all being controlled by that. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, pretty cool, but what about speed? Now I don't like any of my trains silly fast, and I don't want to throw anything off the track here, but I'm hopefully going to be able to show you how much power this has actually got. Right, here we go. 6 locos on 1 cheap Triang controller with no problem whatsoever. That is wicked. Man, that is wicked. So as you can see, they've absolutely stacked the power. So I'm going to slow her down properly. Right, sensible speed now. Okay, while she's running, we'll bring the other 6 locos round. Let's go for it. Good speed, keep it at a good speed. So guys and dolls, there you have it. 12 locomotives, all running together. Trust me, none of them are dummies, they are all powered locos, they're all running together, controlled by 2 of these, and that big power supply, which I can see now is telling me 2 amps, exactly 2 amps, 2.1, 2.1, 2 amps, and that is a 10 amp supply. So you can see how many locos this is going to be capable of. So there we go everybody, hope you enjoyed that. I think it's pretty cool, and I'm looking forward to getting the other 2 from eBay so I can take this one out of the equation and doctor another one of those. And as I say, I will put the video on how to do it, because like I say, it's only going to cost a few quid, a couple of parts from Madeline's, and you can have a power supply as good as this. Thanks for watching. Click like if you did, please. Look at that. DC, look at that crawl, man. 6 locos. Oh, look at that. I tell you what, this is about the best you'd ever get out of DC, doing it this way. That is perfect. That's it guys. Cheerio!